Mike back with you for another video. This is another one of my live streams and the second of a two-part live stream, which actually I guess I've been doing a lot of because I did the 300 albums and did that in two parts and all of that stuff. But this is the second half of the Faith, Hope, and Love is a Choice video series. And I know last week as you were listening, you were thinking, hey, Mr. Positive, shut the hell up. And this is the live stream for you if you were the one saying that, because it was 10 years ago yesterday that my ex broke up with me by saying love is a choice. And I feel like if I were going to love you, it would have happened by now. And here I am 10 years later, and that still kind of messes with me a little bit. On a positive note, I did, took me, about a month and change to write the, title track with the soundbite, Love is a Choice. But that's how this album starts off. And I was going through, I did this live stream a couple of years ago, and it was more about just revisiting the songs. And now I kind of looked more at the sequencing of the album, and it's chaotic. Like, it's just a bunch of vignettes and, it's still kind of within the theme. So don't expect like a cohesive storyline per se. But there are still some really good songs on here that, most importantly, were how I was feeling. 10 years ago, this album took me, I think, about 2 months to write, which is, pretty long now. Now I can do it in 10 days, but this one definitely took some time. And this title track actually came about because I had the day off of work for Veterans Day, and I was just scrolling through YouTube, and I happened to see James Corden doing a like an updated version of Ironic with Alanis Morissette, and that really allowed me to be angry about this situation, whereas before I was just kind of sad and aimless. And so shout out to the two of them for that particular video. I always say it always takes a cover or some other version of a song as that second listen, hearing it in a different way to, make something happen. So that's where Love is a Choice started. And well, kind of, that's where the title track started, and eventually became the rest of the album, although I knew that's what the album was going to be called before I even wrote the title track. So this is Love is a Choice, and I hope you enjoy it. You say you're living a lie, but by God you try to make me yours. You held my hand as we walked down Main. You never did that in Spain, but what was it all for? If love is a choice, in the way you insist, the way you turn me down, makes you a hypocrite. If it was meant to be, the feelings wouldn't be forced, but love is a choice, like you sent me for. Don't you understand the disconnect? Love is a choice when it's convenient. You say reality hit you hard. Your little game left me scarred. Don't think you're off the hook. Don't you understand the irony that's there in saying natural care? Shouldn't need a second look. If love is a choice, in the way you insist, the way you turn me down, makes you a hypocrite if it was meant to be. The feelings wouldn't be forced, but love is a choice. Like you said before, don't you understand the disconnect? Love is a choice when it's convenient. Someday, maybe you will see the irony in what you said to me. Having love be a choice for convenience sake, then having love be natural when you wanna break. Something don't add up, so take your lies and go. If love is a choice, in the way you insist, the way you turn me down, makes you a hypocrite if it was meant to be. The feelings wouldn't be forced, but love is a choice. Like you said before, don't you understand the disconnect? Love is a choice when it's convenient. Love is a choice when it's convenient. Love is a choice when it's convenient. All right, and that was Love is a Choice. Again, inspired by Ironic by Alanis Morissette. And funny enough, Alanis Morissette played very deeply into my trip to Spain because about 3 or 4 days in, it was the Fiesta de los Reyes Magos, Feast of the Magi. And, it's bigger than Christmas, honestly. In Spain, they just, make it a huge deal. And so anyway, my host mom and her family, they were all over, and her family was over at her house, whatever. And her son put on this like audio only music station. And at first there's like U2, and Irish music, arguably, whatever. And, John Waite came on, and I'm like, okay, was expecting to hear some Spanish music, but then all of a sudden You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette comes on, and I'm like, what the heck is going on right now? And so that's another terrific song off of Jagged Little Pill. But which, while I'm doing anniversary live streams, that one turned 30 in June, so I don't know where I was on that one, but pretty terrific. Can't do everything. But yeah, that song, like I said, it kind of gave me permission to be upset about this whole situation, and just calling out the fact that like she kept on shifting back and forth between, hey, love is a choice, and I really should feel something by now, but it's like, well, if love is a choice, then you could feel something, you're just choosing not to. And so it's like, well, you're just a jerk then, to put it nicely. And so that was very ridiculous, but kind of sent me on this dark path that I've been on for the past 10 years or so. But shout out to my friend Lauren. She at some point, or at multiple points actually, we co-write together, and she said, she really likes intense songs, and that certainly is one. So that is that. But that is Love is a Choice, like I said, the title track. Now this next one, this is a song called You Never Loved Me. And this one I remember writing after an episode of SNL, and Adele was the musical guest, and Matthew McConaughey was hosting. And I wrote it, starting at midnight and ending at 12:22. I remember that very specifically, and I looked up at the clock, and I was just like, I had to take a second because it was just that emotional to come to that realization. And I think it was the double chorus that did it, because I, kind of gave the payoff at first. I didn't build it all with the chorus, but it was just, wait a minute, I have more to say with this chorus, this second chorus. And I think that's what really did it. But this particular song was inspired by Photograph by Ed Sheeran, and oddly enough, so first of all, I have a very love-hate relationship with Ed Sheeran. Some of it is his music, but mostly I had an ex-prospect who, loved Ed Sheeran. And so after we fell out, I stopped listening to him for years. And then I reached back out to her for reasons I won't get into, but not romantic reasons. Like 5 years after the fact, 5.5 years. And she's like, yeah, I wasn't that big of an Ed Sheeran fan. And I'm like, okay, so I could have been listening to him this whole time. But in hindsight, one of the nicest things she's ever done for me. But anyway, this is You Never Loved Me, inspired by Photograph by Ed Sheeran. I can reach out to you, even for the simple stuff. You used to cancel the pain, but now you're not enough. It used to take no courage to reach over and hold you tight, but now I fall asleep angry at you every night. I used to think I'd have you for good. You thought no one loved you like I could, then swore a part of you was dying. Yet you kept on trying, loving me for a while like you thought you should. It was a daydream, a fantasy world for you, you told me. Took a while to face the reality that you never loved me at all. You made it seem like you couldn't change your mind, but if you could, you'd do it in almost no time. Love is a choice, there's no turning from what you chose. Guess there's a thorn that lies deep in every rose. I used to think I'd have you for good. You thought no one loved you like I could, then swore a part of you was dying. Yet you kept on trying, loving me for a while like you thought you should. It was a daydream, a fantasy world for you, you told me. Took a while to face the reality that you never loved me at all. It seemed so perfect when we were together, it seemed worth it, like we both truly deserved it. But you couldn't wait for us to fall. You never loved me at all. You never loved me at all. You never loved me at all. All right, and that was You Never Loved Me, like I said, inspired by Photograph by Ed Sheeran. So that song started off with that first line of the I can't reach out to you even for the simple stuff. So I wrote this, it was, I think, November 22nd, technically into the 23rd, because I started it at midnight of 2015, that would have been. And the thing that I realized is that, so after, this whole love is a choice thing happened, I was still in denial and went down to Georgia to visit her and during fall break, which I was going to do anyway. And just kind of figured like, hey, let's clear the air, maybe work some stuff out or whatever. And so we were able to kind of last as being friends for about a month, maybe almost a month. because it was right around Thanksgiving of that year that we stopped talking, and this song might have been part of the reason why I just kind of realized that, because it just got old, like we couldn't continue in the way that we were, and couldn't talk like we used to, even when we were friends and whatever. Like after she had put me through all of this, it just wasn't sustainable, and so there was something that I wanted to talk to her about, like something just kind of casual. And I was just like, no, let me stay strong. And so that's where that first line came from, that I can't reach out to you even for the simple stuff. So that's just kind of where the song started, and just kind of went from there. So this next song, this wasn't inspired by a song in particular, but there's a Tom Petty album called Hard Promises, and I thought, ooh, that's a cool name for a song. And so what I ended up doing was writing a song based on that title, and this is Hard Promises, and I hope you enjoy. It ain't been all that long, but maybe you don't remember that now you told me we could be together till death do us part, in sickness and in health. And you realized that was no longer how you felt. When you told me you wanted to share your life, didn't think that feeling would last like a ship in the night. Weren't you the one who talked marriage and kids? I sure could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you did. Guess you went soft on your hard promises. What about the things you said in Memphis in July? What about the way you used to look into my eyes? Everything about us just felt so right. How could things go so wrong? After that night when you told me you wanted to share your life, didn't think that feeling would pass like a ship in the night. Were you the one who talked about marriage and kids? I sure could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you did. Guess you went soft on your hard promises. Thought your promises were undone, they were set in stone. You shouldn't tell someone you love them when you're feeling all alone. If our promises become unpromises to keep, shouldn't you be the one who's losing sleep? When you told me you wanted to share your life, didn't think that feeling would last like a ship in the night. Were you the one who talked about marriage and kids? I sure could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you did. Guess you went soft on your hard promises. Guess you went soft on your hard promises. All right, and that was Hard Promises. Like I said, inspired by the Tom Petty album title, Hard Promises. So this next one, speaking of Tom Petty, the waiting is the hardest part. But this particular song was inspired by two things. So it was inspired kind of in title by the song Fight Like a Girl by Bombshell. And that has obviously some thematic differences to it, but the general idea of it, I kind of took that idea that, like, okay, be a man, and all of those phrases, and be chivalrous, but be patient and wait. And it's like, well, no, if if you're patient, whatever, and they still don't appreciate that, then it's hard to fight for that person. So that's kind of where this song came from. This is Fight Like a Man, and I hope you enjoy it. I've heard many times I should fight like a man, that tears are for wimps and no good for my brain. But after we ended, I couldn't fight. Too many tears for there to even decide. I can fight like a man. once you can bring myself to company. I can fight like a man who wants you when I'm the only one I have to defeat. You can get up if you want, goes down, but I don't know if I can last another round. You fought the ring while I was stuck on the ropes. You hit me low after giving me high hopes. I can fight like a man who wants you. I can bring myself to compete. I can fight like a man who wants you when I'm the only one I have to defeat. Never thought you'd give me that knockout punch. Even in the ring, I never had a hunch. I can fight like a man who wants you. I can bring myself to put up my fists. I can fight like a man who wants you when that man doesn't exist. I can fight like a man who wants you when that man doesn't exist. All right, and that was Fight Like a Man. Like I said, off of my album Love is a Choice, which we are playing through all the way today. I was going to say celebrating, but it feels like the wrong word. It is a good album, but I would have loved to not have to write it, not have had to write it, I suppose. Yeah. But here we are. So this next song, I mentioned last week that I was listening to a lot of Dan Wilson when I was writing these two albums, and this particular song was inspired by the song the song Two by Dan Wilson, and this is a song called Heart Murmurs, and one of my other comfort albums while I was in Spain was Heart Murmurs by Jeremy Messersmith. And so similar to the Tom Petty song, I took that, changed it into a song, and this is Heart Murmurs, and I hope you enjoy it. Do you remember back in Memphis, reunited once again, holding hands, walking down Main Street? At the time I couldn't comprehend. It was magical how we felt, as if the world stopped turning for us. When I look into your hazel eyes, I saw nothing but love. I could feel the heart murmurs, but I didn't care. If it skipped a beat, at least it was with you there. Heart murmurs didn't need repair. After we wed 1 year later, you got sick in the morning light. 9 months later, you brought into the world a new life. Suddenly we had our flesh and blood, with the future so clear. He was ours, we were each other's for the rest of our years. We felt the murmurs and tremendous pride. We dreaded the day when we'd ever say goodbye. Felt our murmurs burn great inside. Then one fateful day, as I fell asleep on your chest, you woke me up to inform me if moving on would be best. It broke my fragile corazon, but I knew yours would be fine. Now I'm trying to mend my broken heart with pieces I can't find. Because now your heart murmurs that I'm not the one. It left me shy, it left me stunned. Your heart murmurs I'm not the one. All right, and that was Heart Murmurs, like I said, inspired by One by Dan Wilson. So I'm putting my guitar down, and you guys know exactly what that means. I am getting on piano, keyboard, I should say. This one was this next one. Well, actually, I'll preview that in a second. But I was talking to my mom about this live stream last night, and she doesn't want to see my heart broken. I really don't either. But she said, yeah, so it might be a little difficult tuning in, and I'm like, I get that, but definitely answers some questions, about the mysteriousness of why I've been a little sullen over the past 10 years. But I told her, I said, it's mostly true, but I said there are some red herrings in there, and this is one of the red herrings. We weren't like expecting a kid together or anything like that, but it was kind of when I was writing for this album, it was almost like my life was flashing before my eyes, and so I saw like everything that we were and everything that we could have been, and I put that into that particular song. And I just absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites, and it's also worth noting that a couple of years ago, I went to get my physical, and apparently, my heart has an irregular rhythm to it, and so my heart may have skipped a beat for this person, but she's not special. It technically does that, for everyone if they stick around long enough, which, they don't always do that, but gone in a heartbeat. But anyway, so this next song was written originally on guitar, but I kind of had piano in mind for it, even though I didn't really play the piano at the time. I took lessons when I was 8, and then that was a whole big long thing. But when I got this is about 4 years ago, and I wrote this album about 10 years ago, and so didn't have access, but I still messed around with it on GarageBand on piano, and so I was able to figure something out. But this is a song called "Funeral for a Friend," and it was inspired by the Elton John song of the same name, and I'll kind of explain the lyrics afterwards. But this is "Funeral for a Friend," and I hope you enjoy it. I follow in mourning the motorcade ain't fair. I have done nothing wrong, did nothing to deserve this. It just don't seem fair. It's like the puppet master doesn't even care. Now buried 6 feet underground are only memories. I view it with my own 2 eyes, but don't wanna believe. As I look at the writing on the grave, I think about how you couldn't be saved. It wasn't easy when I found out, and it's harder today, but nothing can change no matter what I say. A funeral for a friend is what I'm attending. Thought what we had would be never ending. In true reality, you're still alive, but you let the part of you that involved me die. Yes, you let the part of you that involved me die. All right, and that was Funeral for a Friend, like I said, inspired by the Elton John song of the same name. So when I wrote that, I was like, am I an asshole for pretending like my ex is dead and then just revealing, like, ah, she's dead to me? And, so I can't remember when in the process I wrote this particular song, but the following January, it was coming up on like a year since this person and I had first hung out. And I was like making a sandwich the night before for lunch the next day. And just like all of a sudden, I just froze. That's never happened before, and it hasn't happened since. Um, but I just froze. I couldn't do anything. Like, I dropped the knife, and that makes that sound like, uh, like I was going to do something with the knife, but that wasn't it at all. It was just like I couldn't continue going on because I remembered that date was the next day. And so the next day was just rough. Um, but anyway, I had, talked with one of the guidance counselors at school, and she said, like, no, this is like a death that you're mourning, like it's the death of a relationship. And so, I didn't get therapy until years later, but I was kind of onto something there. But I don't know. I mean, you guys can tell me because I, killed her off in that song, and then I turned her into a hooker in another song. So, like, you tell me what's worse, and I'll gladly play both of them. But anyway, that did come from a very genuine place. Just kind of mourning the loss of this person. And the chorus kind of had to be faster, but I didn't necessarily mean for it to be funny in that particular regard, because it is. It's like, again, you're mourning a death in a lot of ways. But I mentioned earlier that I, was watching SNL and then wrote that song "You Never Loved Me." And this next song that I'm about to play is called Happy for You. And it's funny because there are a lot of songs from 2015, maybe, I heard them for the first time in 2015, but they were released in 2014 that just like really make me happy because they make me think of when like things were decent at work in my first year of teaching. Um, so like Shut Up and Dance and Can't Feel My Face and songs like that. But this particular song, Demi Lovato was pretty big at the time, popularity wise. And, and so this was a song after I came back from that trip to Georgia. I watched the Tracy Morgan episode of SNL where Demi Lovato was the musical guest, and she had this song called Stone Cold, and that's kind of what she repeats, but she also says, I can't be happy for you. And so I kind of took it in my own direction, and this is Happy for You. So I hope you enjoy it. What will it take to get you to understand that I'll take no alternative to being your man? How am I gonna get this message through unless you're with me? I can't be happy for you. As I contemplate all the ways that this hurts, I think something is wrong with the whole universe. I did everything right, I always stayed true, but unless you're with me, I can't be happy for you. The irony is you didn't want to lose me as a friend, but now that you're not mine, well, this is the end. That wasn't the case before you hung me out to dry. Can't be happy for you, so this is goodbye. I could have saved our love, but the towel was thrown when I realized we were both better off alone. One day you might marry, I won't be at the church, 'cause if he lifts that white veil, I will be blue. And unless you're with me, unless you're with me, unless you're with me, I can't be happy for you. All right, and that was Happy for You. So, like I said at the beginning, a lot of these songs are just kind of vignettes of like how I was feeling at the time and not necessarily like a cohesive process because that's just not how grief works. And I thought about it, I'm like, could I reorganize these in some way? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. The most that I did in that regard was put the Love is a Choice and You Never Loved Me at the beginning because that's not where they originally appeared. But like I said, it's a messy thing. And so I kind of shifted between like the narrative of what happened and my feelings about what happened. And, threw in some creative liberties there in between. But this is one of those that, similar to Funeral for a Friend, it's like, okay, you're kind of slowly getting to that process of like, okay, I can accept this. And the nice thing about putting those other songs at the beginning is that it's like, okay, I can accept this, but then you're like, wait a minute, no, I can't. I just can't. And, so that's where you see You Never Loved Me and Heart Promises right in a row. So you have the kind of acceptance and then you have the anger directly after that. So it's, again, we're 10 years on. So, it's still a process. But this next song, about, I don't know, probably into December, I would say. So that kind of answers that question. I turned on Guess FM in Memphis, and they kept on playing Crimson and Clover, and really stuck out to me. And so I was thinking, okay, I want to write a song like Crimson and Clover, but what if I did two things that like really didn't go together? And so I thought about this Seinfeld bit where he's talking about how did they, first figure out that rain and leather, are bad for each other. And he's like, oh, did the cows, just like knock when it was raining and be like, let us in, let us in. And and so that made me laugh. But I'm like, let me turn this into a serious song. So this is Rain and Leather, and I hope you enjoy it. You like knowing can man. No, we cannot be friends. We're still go together. Now we're just rain and leather. We held hands down on Main Street. We would not admit defeat. It's as if you don't remember. 'Cause now we're rain and leather. It was just wishing and wanting. Now you're constantly haunting. All our ties are now severed. 'Cause now we're rain and leather. I was standing at the altar. Why did our love falter? We talked for worse or better. Now we're rain and leather. What's life for if you leave me fettered? Now we're rain and leather. Now we're rain and leather. We're rain and leather. All right, and that was Rain and Leather. I do want to point out one correction. Normally I just play through and don't say anything, but there was a line in there where I said, why did our love falter? The real lyric is, why did your love falter? And that matters because my love did not falter, but hers did. And eventually mine did, but she made the first move in that regard. Yeah, that's an important correction, but that is Rain and Leather. So we've just got two more songs. This next one is called Last Night in Memphis, and it was inspired by the Little Big Town song called I'm With the Band. And this particular song, I just kind of expanded on that idea of Last Night in Memphis. This song basically talks about our rise and fall. I do want to say something really quick because there's, a small chance that he's listening, and I mean microscopic chance. But when I was, first starting off in Memphis, I lived in Fielder Square, and there was this guy, maintenance guy. His name was Billy, and he was super nice. And he's like, anything you need, just let me know. And he was there like, in 2 seconds when you put in a request and whatever. And he stopped working there. I have no idea what happened to him, but he was just awesome. And like about a month, I take that back. Like this is probably honestly like October or November. So after the two of us fell out, I ran into Billy, and he was like, yeah, I saw you, walking, but I didn't want to bother you on the date. And I'm like, well, I actually said this to him. I'm like, given how it ended, I said you probably wouldn't have been too far off. Like good for you at that point, for doing me that favor. But shout out to Billy, because I just randomly thought of that story when I was going through these songs, and that made me smile. Um, and these are some pretty sad songs, and so you kind of need that as you're going through them. But anyway, this is Last Night in Memphis, and I hope you enjoy it. Last night in Memphis, you took my hand, looked in my eyes. I knew you loved me and never wanted to have to say goodbye, say goodbye. We look like those couples you see in movies and magazines. From then on, when I talked about you, did nothing but be, nothing but be. Never in a million years thought you'd be mine. But last night in Memphis, you were under so much time. Something changed last night in Memphis, and I'm not sure what it was. But last night in Memphis, you fell in love. Days went on and got this feeling that your mind had changed. Memories were the only thing that still remained. A few months later, you confirmed you never loved me at all. Said love was a choice and you chose this time not to fall. Last night in Memphis, can't keep living with your ghost. Boarding the plane for a brand new start to fix the heart that you broke, heart that you broke. All right, and that was Last Night in Memphis. So that was the second to last track. Like I said, I got one more, and I'm gonna put this guitar away, and then play the last song for it. So this last song is a song called "Love Is Gone Forever," and as far as I know, this is the last song that I wrote for the album. And in 2014, Maroon 5 released an album, their fifth album, appropriately called Five, and the last track on it is a song called My Heart Is Open that features Gwen Stefani. And, it takes a second to let things seep in. And so, that was like a year or so after the album was released. And so, as I was going through it, I was thinking, okay, well, this love is gone forever. And so that inspired this song. And I'm like, okay, what are we thinking vibe wise? And My Heart Is Open came to my mind. And so this is another one that I tracked on piano on GarageBand, just the MIDI tracks and all of that. But I kind of had to play it if I was going to play it on guitar because didn't have the capability, really. And so this is Love Is Gone Forever, and this is on piano. So I hope you enjoy. Here it comes, this is the end now. Your love ran out and then so did mine. I used to let it go, but you led me on, so that won't fly this time. Does dozens of roses that I sent you, put in a vase the meaning not received. After all I've done, you took me for granted, and that's still something I can't believe. Why did you initiate it if you were just gonna change your mind? How can you just say let's be friends after all this time? You once told me you loved me. You once told me you loved me. You once told me you love me. Now love is gone forever. No more holding hands or kissing you. Your heart don't want me, and I don't know why. I tried to go on with us just as friends can no more, so this is goodbye. Why did you initiate it if you were just gonna change your mind? How can you say let's be friends after all this time? You once told me you loved me. You once told me you loved me. You once told me you loved me. Now love is gone forever. You once told me you loved me. You once told me you loved me. You once told me you loved me. Now love is gone forever. All right, and that was Love Is Gone Forever. What a positive note to end on, although I guess it was a C major. But anyway, that was Love Is a Choice, the album that I wrote 10 years ago after, again, my ex told me love is a choice. And I feel like if I were going to love you, it would have happened by now. So that stayed in my head, and I hope it stays in yours too. Is such an awful thing to say. So thank you to everyone who has supported me over the past 10 years as this has been going on. I posted something about it yesterday, and it really, eats away at me. It really does. Every time something goes wrong in a relationship, I'm like, oh man, this again. And so it's just like just a ghost that won't go away, not in the fun way like Ernestine and Hazel's. But E&H was a great spot for me to try these songs. And, I fell into it right as we were falling out. And I just have a terrific support network of people who let me, sing these lamentations because later I can snap back into being happy, but just kind of being angry or sad or whatever on stage. It helped me quite a bit and continues to do so. And whoever those songs are about, because they're not all about her at this point. But anyway, I'm Minnesota Mike. Thank you once again for tuning in. My next live stream is going to be on the 21st of October. So that is 2 weeks from tomorrow. We are going to do a Sermon on the Rocks 10th anniversary edition and or 10th anniversary live stream, and it's also Josh Ritter's birthday, so I might throw in a couple other favorites of his, but he has so many, so gotta be careful with that. But again, I'm Minnesota Mike, and I'll see you on the 21st of